In this video, I'm going to go over why I am going with ReMarkable Paper Pro and I'm returning the Boox Tab X C. So to preface this, why did I buy these devices? I wanted something to replace a paper notebook that sits on my desktop or my nightstand, something that I could pick up the pencil immediately and start writing with and treat it like a piece of paper. Basically, I wanted a magical piece of paper, something that I could take everywhere with me but didn't take up any more space. Could be transferred, could be shared, could be whatever I needed to do, could be edited easily and have an infinite amount of pages, or more importantly, be able to make folders and that sort of thing. So I just wanted a magical piece of paper that did a thing. Now, I am a power user. I like infinite flexibility. I like owning the device. I like having full control over the device. And that's why I love this device so much, because it was running Android. It had all the flexibilities of Android, and I could own and change everything about it that I wanted to. And that brings me into a device like this. Now, this is my wife's, and I purchased this for her because I wanted her to be able to read her books and that sort of thing. But she had other documents and books that were either that she purchased or that that were freely available. She put them on this device, and you can do that. There's ways of putting them on here without having to jailbreak it or anything like that. And the manufacturer of this decided that she was not allowed to have those other files on there, and randomly decided one day to delete everything, and everything was gone. And this, if you research this, you'll find out that it's actually a problem where they will go in and periodically, either by firmware updates or whatever they do on there, and they just decide, oh no, anything that's not by our store, we're just going to remove it from your device. And we have moved on from this company, and now she only uses another device. She still has their app on there so she could read some of their stuff, but we don't use these devices, and I no longer recommend these devices because I don't like their ecosystem and how they treat customers and their own personal data. So with that being said, let's move on to these devices here and why I'm actually going with this device over this device. And again, I wanted to absolutely love this device. Please know that I wholeheartedly wanted this device to win. I kind of thought that this device was going to be a lockdown version of something similar to this, where, okay, that's where I was coming from. I do have a iPad. I have the pencil for this. I've been using it for years. I like the iPad. I also have an Android phone, and I use all things. I flip-flop between everything all the time because I'm a power user. I like using different things all the time. So I'm beholden to no one. So I want to get that out of the way as well. This is the form factor I was going for me personally. I wanted something that was the equivalent of a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I could read all my different documentation notes and things of that nature on. And this was the closest thing at the time. This is a regular size iPad. I believe this is the 9, the revision 9 or something like that, or whatever. Anyway, so let's get into the devices and their markers, as they call them. So first things first, this marker right here with the books. First things first, the magnets on this device are very anemic. They don't pull into the device. They fall off very easily. The marker itself is very plasticky. It's very light, and that might be a benefit to some people for it to be very light, but it just feels cheap for what it is. And again, the magnets are very disappointing on this device. They don't like to pull in the way that they should. Let's move on to the ReMarkable. And first things first, it has this locking tab with this particular case that I bought. Both of these have been maxed out. They both have the keyboard. They are pretty much price comparable to each other. They're just under $1,000 if you include all the features that I have paid for, like the keyboard and the maxed out marker and all that other stuff. Anyway, this has a locking tab with a magnet that flips over. That's just wonderful because unlike this one, if you put it into a bag, if you bump this even just a little bit, it can easily fall off, and you can see it doesn't even want to lock on. So let's go over to this one. So it has a locking tab. So now when you put it into a book or into a backpack rather, it's not going to fall off. You take the locking tab off, and the locking tab actually in the case is recessed so that when you put it on a tabletop surface, it actually lays flush on the tabletop surface, which is really nice. But let's get into the marker itself. So the magnets are much stronger. So when we pull this off and we even get this thing just even a little close, it'll just suck the magnet right in, which is phenomenal. Okay, that's wonderful. The other thing about this is that this marker from the ReMarkable has this rubber overmolding, which feels really nice in the hand, and it has a nice weight to it. However they built this has more weight to it, which I find to feel more premium. Now, it could just be steel that they've put in this and it has no extra function, but from just a feel perspective, it just feels nicer. The other thing is, and I don't know if this is just from patents, but the ReMarkable, I think, is the only company that actually has an eraser. It's one of the few that actually has an eraser, which I find very beneficial. And again, trying to get as close to, a notebook or a piece of paper that has all the same features as having a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, and having an eraser is getting me that much closer to having that. So we can write with it, and now we can erase with it. It feels more premium. The magnets are so much better as compared to this. The other thing is that I don't have a worry with this locking mechanism. I have a tremendous fear that I'm going to lose this. I know I'm going to lose it. As opposed to this, I don't have that fear. Now, as opposed to the iPad, you actually have to take the pencil out and you have to stick it in the bottom of the iPad to charge it. Both of these do have wireless charging, and I think that is phenomenal because now you never have to worry about either of the markers running out of battery, and that was always a big complaint about this. Yes, the pencil charged up quickly, but it was always, you want to have as less friction as possible when it comes to if you have a creative idea or if you just want to get something done real quick. It's like, let me go get a pen and paper because this is dead and I need to write this down real quick before I forget. You're on the phone with somebody and you got to write something down. You just want to pull it out. Boom, let's go. Do. Okay, I got your phone number. I got your email. I got your contact information. I just need it now. And this was not cutting it. But both of these do from the standpoint of that they're both always charging and always ready to go. Now, I'm going to show you something that the iPad can't do and this can't do, but this can do. So this is paramount for me. So let's go in and let's just open up a document. Now, I can leave this document open. Now, the device may go to sleep. I'm gonna lock it real quick. I'm gonna put it to sleep. This is what it looks like when it's sleeping. Now, if you open it up, it will wake up. But more importantly than anything, I'll open this one up as well. And I'll put it back to sleep. I'll press the power button. Actually, let me put it into a note real quick. So I'll open it up. Here's a note. Okay, I'm in a note. All right, I'm going to lock it. Both of these devices are locked. And I like this little screensaver. And this, you can actually change this, which is really cool. Now watch what happens when I pull up this marker. Nothing. And that's the same with an iPad too, if it's sleeping. Okay, watch this. Immediate. As soon as you pick this thing up, it's locked. You walk away or you lock it yourself. You pick it up. Boom. It actually takes a second for the screen to refresh, but it actually remembered everything that you were typing as soon as you put the pencil or the marker to the tablet. Again, also, you have an eraser. This doesn't have it. The iPad doesn't have it. That is, I can't even convey to you how huge that is. That's paramount. That's paramount to just be able to go up to it. Also, there's another function that you can turn on in this device, and I haven't experimented with it yet, but basically you can make it where even when it's in sleep mode, when it's locked, you can have it leave the document open. So if it goes into standby, you can tell it to leave it in that. So basically, you could be, be in a room and just walk back up to it, read a note, and then walk away, and then come back and, oh shoot, I gotta write da 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 da. Instant. This is the closest to a paper document you will ever get with this design and its workflow. Okay, let's get into, so that's the design of the case, we'll get into the design of the case. Now I want to get into the keyboards. So first things first, with this guy right here, when you fold this open, the keyboard is part of the top case. It's very big and heavy, okay? I don't like that. The other thing that I don't like is that when you're picking this device up and you fold it open like this, if you're in a workspace, you're in an office, or you're in a restaurant, or you're traveling, wherever you are, you don't know what the surface that you're setting it down has. It could be slightly wet, it could be slightly sticky, it could be slightly dusty, it doesn't matter. You're basically forcing yourself, every time you put this thing down in the open position, you're potentially forcing dirt and sticky stuff or whatever into your keyboard, and eventually that's going to make it where the keys are going to foul up over time. Also, this is these pogo plugs here are the connection from the keyboard to the tablet on this particular device. So over time, that could get dirty and then it won't work. And then you'd be like, well, the keyboard's broken, even though it's just a dirty connection. So I don't like that either. So I really don't like this. It reminds me of like Lenovo Yoga, and I never liked that design either, how you could turn it into a tablet. I was never a fan of that design. So with that being said, we'll move on to the ergonomics of the keyboard itself. So with this device, you have to flip it up like this, and then it locks in place. Now, the beauty of this is that this is the only connection between the tablet and the keyboard. There's no real place that this is going to fail other than if they got dirty a little bit. So the problem with this keyboard design is that this is actually, it doesn't look like it from this point of view, but this is actually quite a steep viewing angle. And it becomes even worse if you're laying in bed or sitting on the couch and you put this on your legs. Now this is wanting to fall forward. So say you've got it on your lap and you're typing away and you got your legs kind of, bent up like this, how you would like a normal laptop. This wants to fall forward. The other thing is this has a trackpad, and I really don't think that there's any real reason for this to having a trackpad. Now, again, this runs full Android, which is wonderful. And the fact that you have a cursor is wonderful. But if we look at the refresh rate, it's almost unusable from a cursor perspective. Also, hello, you have a touchscreen. Use the pencil that you spent all this money on. Why don't you just use the pencil to do all your navigation, or use your finger, use whatever you need to do. Okay, so with that being said, I don't like the viewing angle. I don't like the fact that it has a trackpad because it's redundant, because you have a touchscreen and you're going to use the marker or whatever you're going to use. Also has a very steep viewing angle. Okay, also, again, the magnets are very weak. I'm going to pull this slightly forward. The magnets that actually hold this thing on just gave out just that easily. This is totally flat, and it's relying 100% on the magnets to hold this in place, as opposed to the ReMarkable. Let's look at that real quick. So if we look at the ReMarkable, totally different design. So this cover right here, unlike this device, and again, I'll go back to it, very heavy, okay, and very big and bulky. This is paper thin and weighs nothing. okay? And you're asking yourself, well, where's the keyboard? Well, it's right here. So with this device, the tilt angle is greatly relaxed. So now you could be working on a surface. It's got a nice relaxed tilt to it. But also, if you were to put this, and I'm going to fold this back now. Check this out. Watch this. So if I fold this down, when I go to fold this under, the same locking pad that was used for the pencil can actually be used to keep this from flopping around. Now, yes, it would make it a little less uneven, but it's just nice to have this to keep the little piece from flopping around if you wanted to. If you want it to not be uneven, you can just put this into its lock position and do that. Either way, it doesn't matter. So nice and flat. But anyway, we'll get into this. So viewing angle is much better. Check it out. If you put it on your lap, and you're tilted like this, and you got it on your legs, you're on the couch, you're in bed, you're whatever, you still haven't even reached a 90-degree angle, or I should say full vertical. So this does not want to fall forward. The other thing is that if we flip this down, and these magnets are just intense. Check this out. There's actually feet. So there's feet on the back of this, so that when you actually put this in place here, not only do you have the magnets keeping this in place, you've actually got these indexing pins essentially holding it from being able to slide. Unlike this can slide freely because it's just relying purely on the magnets. This is relying on magnets and these little cups here. So now this was one of my only fears with this design, was this has pogo pins here that index with these pins here that connect to the keyboard. Now, when you open this was my fear, is that maybe over, 1,000 keyboard openings that, a ribbon cable in here could fail over time. But keep in mind, now these connectors won't get dirty because they're not being put onto a tabletop surface. The only thing that you have to worry about is this bend, which could fail. And that was kind of a fear of mine. But realistically, now that I think about it, I like the fact that this design is keeping the dirt and the stickiness and whatever is on a surface off of this, and it's going to make it so much easier to clean the top cover and the bottom cover because it's totally flat, and I don't have to worry about garbage getting in between the keys. Okay. The other thing is, again, both of these are in the same price range. They're just under $1,000 when you max them out like I did. If you look at this has a backlit keyboard. That doesn't. I don't need a trackpad. So if you look at it from the perspective of how much space they take up, if I line up the back of this device from the heel right here, I'm not worrying about the screen, but just the heel of the back of this device, depth-wise, we're saving about 2 inches. Okay, now yes, this is tilted back more, so if I put them in parallel with each other, this device, the Boox is actually leaning back slightly more than the ReMarkable. I know you can't see it right now, but just take my word for it. And the keyboard, I think the keyboard on this feels nicer. And I just love that it's a backlit key. That's just phenomenal to me. So we've looked at the keyboards now. I'm going to put these back into the normal position. We've looked at the fact that, I gotta show you a size comparison too. So let's put these end to end real quick. Check this out. So the other thing that I really didn't like about the Boox was, and again, I wanted to love this thing. So you've got this big heavy keyboard that's going to get all dirt and garbage in it because normally you're going to be stowing it like that on a surface. But if we look at it like this Boox tablet, you literally have to have 1/4 of an acre or a small landing strip to open it. And what I mean by that is when you open it, it's almost like a National Geographic's book or like a Guinness Book of World Records book. It is huge compared to this when you open it. It sticks out. If you line up the edge from edge to edge here, you are at almost 3.5 inches wider. So if you're in an airplane or you're at a restaurant or you're somewhere and you want to take down a quick note, or you're interacting with somebody, you want to take a quick note, you literally you feel like you're unfolding a Boeing 747 wing with this device. This guy, it's 3.5 inches smaller. Okay. Yeah, 3.5 inches. So you don't feel like you're landing a plane when you're trying to open this guy. So that was a huge turnoff to me. It's big, it's heavy, the tilt angle is garbage. It's not a huge problem to line up this locking mechanism here, but it's just not well thought out. It's not well thought out. This is well thought out. This makes sense. And it's compact, and the tilt angle is good. It's very good, especially if you got it on your legs like this. Even on a desktop like this, it still feels correct. Okay, so we got into that. Now, let's talk about size. So the size difference, it's about 3/4 of an inch wider in this layout, and it's probably about maybe... Well, I have to bring it down because the bezel is bigger here. So let's bring it down to the usable space. So it's about an inch taller and 3/4 of an inch wider on the Boox. And if that means something to you, then maybe the Boox is for you. But for me, the cost of how the layout is didn't outweigh the problems. So here's problems that I have for me. Say that you're in a winter state and you're wearing a big, bulky coat. So you've got your thing here, or say that you're laying in bed and you've got this sitting on your chest and you've got your clothes and your clothes are coming up, are covering part of it. You've got this nice bezel down here that's kind of like an iPad. And so your clothes come up here, or if you're sitting outside and you got your jacket on, your poofy jacket, your jacket's gonna absorb some of that if you're resting this on your chest. If you want, the menu system is at the top to go back to get to the main menu on this device, okay? On this device, this bezel is so small here so that when you have it in this mode and you've got your bulky clothing like this is just like an Android tablet where you have to go down here to get home. Or to change programs. So say that you're in the note-taking app right here, and we go in here and we click on this note, and I want to get out of this. I can't just hit back. I have to go like this, pick it up, and go like... It sounds dumb, but it can be a annoying big deal, especially if you're jumping back and forth between a whole bunch of different documents. It gets really annoying really quickly. The other thing is all of the unused real estate on the Boox compared to this. The bezel, this bezel is perfectly fine when you've got it sitting on your chest like this when you're in reading mode, and it's not really in the way when you've got it in keyboard mode when you're typing on it. But this is huge. This is 1.25 inches almost of why I don't have this problem when I'm holding. I get it if you were using this as a grip here, you're holding onto it like this, but this device, I can move I have big hands, but I can move them out of the way. I don't need that much real estate to hold on to something, or I can hold it like this. I can hold it like this. I don't see the need of having this huge, monstrous bezel on the side over here. And then having the navigation like a normal Android, that's fine. But the bezel, not having a bigger bezel up here, when you have it and you have bulky clothes on, this gets in the way, especially when you're navigating, and that's a real problem. Okay, so let's get into actually using the device. So the ReMarkable devices, they have one, when you're in the navigation, when you're in a document, you're in the entire system. There are no other apps, there are no other things to do, which is fine. And actually one of the reasons why I wanted this Android device was simply because I could do everything. I could put Spotify on it. I had a web browser. I could do whatever I want. But the problem is that those were solving problems that, if I really, really, really thought about it, were not problems that I needed to solve. Because if I want to listen to Spotify, I have a phone. If I, this has Bluetooth, I could put headphones, it has speakers, it has a microphone, it has everything except for a webcam. This device has. And the more I thought about it, I don't really need to have, I'm not trying to look to replace my iPad. I'm not trying to replace my phone. I'm not trying to replace my computer. I'm trying to fill a slot that I don't already have a solution for, which is basically having a notebook that I could easily get information on it and off of it and have it instantly ready at a moment's notice. And that is not this device, simply because, again, when you lock this thing, or actually I should unlock it and go into a note and then lock it. Okay. The minute I pick it up, it's ready to go. It's ready to go. I'm going to delete all that. It's ready to go. Or I have a marker, or I have an eraser. I want to erase that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. Instantaneous. It does what it's supposed to do. I have all this functionality here that I don't need, and I'm not going to use, because that's not the point of having this device. Okay. So first things I have to do is, by looking at these devices, I want you to look at the backlight on this device is all the way off, or the front light, whatever it's called. The front light on this device is all the way off. This device is so much more readable without a light on completely, and that actually translates dramatically to its battery life. And I'll show that here as an example. This device, in order to have it look as good as this one does, I actually have to turn the backlight up to around 75%, or the front light, excuse me. Now, one of the selling points to me personally is I like the idea. This one has a adjustable color. It has a bicolor light on it. So you can make it, very cold, or you can ramp it all the way up to a very tungsten, very warm, warm white, which is wonderful, especially for people that like to have that warm color. It makes it easier to look at for long durations and that sort of thing. But I found that it's not an issue with this, because I typically am not needing to turn on the light at all, so it's not an issue anyway, if that makes sense. Now, again, because this is an Android, it has all the functionalities of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all that other good stuff. But again, needing to have that light on all the time just sucks the battery, which negates the whole purpose of trying to find the niche that this could not fill. So I'm going to leave this turned up just so you guys can see better. And we're going to go into the actual usability of this device. Now, they both have perfectly fine refresh rates on their screens. Actually, this device is very quick, and some people will complain, when you go into the note taking, this one is better because when you draw something with a color, it doesn't do a flash, as opposed to this one, when you draw something with a color, it does this flash thing. I don't care about that. That's not a problem for me. The problem is, does the thing do the thing, and is it quick when it does the thing? So let's get into first of all, how do you get information on and off these devices? This device, because it is Android, you can plug in a USB flash drive, you can do Bluetooth, you can do Wi-Fi, you can do cloud storage, you can do all that. This device they have a dedicated app that is absolutely lovely. And what it does is, anything that you do on this device, this is your home screen, these are all your files, you can make folders, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you do in this this is basically the file system. Your home page is your file system. Whatever you do here is how it shows up in the ReMarkable app, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. And that is wonderful. And I thought it was going to be a problem, and it's not. So you can't use a flash drive, but the synchronization is second to none on this device, and it doesn't even require a cloud connection. You do have to install an app on your device, computer or tablet or whatever, or your phone. And you do have to link them in the ReMarkable cloud, but the synchronization is not actually happening through their servers. It's actually happening locally, but I think if you had this device left at home or something like that, it would sync through the cloud, but this synchronization happens so quickly, and it does work even if you don't have an internet connection, as long as you have Wi-Fi. If you're, for example, if you're at the house and your internet goes down and you need to synchronize or transfer a file from this device to your tablet or to your computer or to your whatever, it will work even if the internet is broken. As long as the Wi-Fi works, this will work. Now, they have another feature that I don't think a lot of people know about, but it's phenomenal. If you connect this USB-C connection to your computer, it will actually form a small network. It's not a USB transfer, it's a network. So basically what it's doing is it's making this port into a virtual network to your computer. You put in the IP address, if you know what that means, into your web browser, and you're basically looking at a web page that's generated by this device. What's neat about that is that it preserves the file structure the way that it is on the device. So when you use the ReMarkable app, for example, and I could demonstrate that here in just a second, when you go into the ReMarkable app, it's going to look just like this. The layout, the folder structure, everything's going to be the same, so you're not hunting for stuff. It's not like an Android app or a Windows machine where you got to go in and, you got to go to the C drive and you got to go to this and you got to go to the... No. It's the same as how it is on what you see here. So you're not having to go hunting for things and trying to refigure things out. That's actually a problem with this device. When you put a flash drive on this device, you got to go in the flash drive and you got to know what the file structure is on the flash drive, and you got to get it on it and then you got to get it off it. Same thing if you want to get files on this and off of this outside of and it does not have any native synchronization other than their cloud syncing, and I'll get into that in a minute. I wanted a device, again, that will work without servers, networking, or the internet. Or I should say, without servers or the internet. Networking is fine. Local networking is fine, but I don't want to have to rely on the internet in order for them to work. Also, likewise, if either of these services go down, go away, whatever, I still want to be able to use the device even if their servers go away, even forever. So the thing is that the app that this uses is phenomenal. It works even if the internet doesn't work. It just has the one caveat of being annoying that you have to link this device to your computer in their portal. But once you do it, it's there forever, and it'll work even if the internet doesn't. You can use this jack, and if you want to be somebody that's totally off grid and you don't want to sign up for anything, you don't want to have to make an account, just plug in the USB right here, go to the web page that's generated by this, and now you don't have to sign up for anything. What I love about both of these devices is that you don't have to make an account for either of these devices. The only reason I made an account was so I could put the ReMarkable app on my computer, but technically you don't need to if you use the USB port. Okay, moving on. So the only way to synchronize or get your work on and off this device is if you use a program that I like to use from the Android store, which is called Local Send. It works with all computers and devices, and it works really well for transferring files, but you still run into the same issue of file structures. So when you transfer a file to this, it's going to put it in the downloads folder. Then you have to take it out of the downloads folder, and then you have to import it into your notes. Again, with this device, the minute that you put it into the app or you put it into the web interface, it's putting it into the same file structure that you see here. So you're actually eliminating a step by doing the transfer and then going into the device and moving it into the software. You don't need to do that. You're already putting it in the software, and that's why this has so many more points than this. And I was blown away by it, because now you have to go in and now you have to import the thing. You have to say, oh, well, I want to go here and I want to I want to import a document into my notes. There is no import when you use this. It's just in, and then you put it where you wanted it to when you're bringing it in. It's amazing. Okay, so let's go over the other thing about this is with the e-reader side of it. So say for me, not only note taking is very important. Like I said, this has to be like a piece of paper. I need to be able to lock this and pick up the thing and just start writing. Okay. Let's go back into this. So I'm going to lock it. I just want to drive this home because you guys just don't know how important this is to me. I pick up the pencil or the marker. It does nothing. Okay. So we'll open it up, and before we get to the other parts of the app, I want to talk about a couple other things. This has a plethora of options here, which is awesome. It has everything you could ever want. It even has the ability to record audio. So if you click on the record button, you can actually put a little tab here, and it'll record the audio from your meeting or whatever you want, and then you can do your notation later, which I think is a really cool feature, that it has that, and you can play back the audio, and it sounds really good. It has everything that you could imagine from Microsoft Paint or Photoshop. You can do anything you want with this thing. The problem is that this is the Notes app. This is for making notes. This isn't really for going into PDFs and reading documentations or books. This is just for like jotting down a note. The problem with that is, and it works great. Like, look, I can put all these different brushes up here. I can add brushes. I can have a whole list of brushes. If you're very artistic, you can have all your brushes and your presets, what you love. And oh man, but I'm not artistic, so it's not my deal. But I just wanted to show you that it has a lot of functionality. It even has a search function. Oh, let me go over that real quick. So I was hoping that both of these devices would be able to do handwritten text in and be able to make it searchable. The ReMarkable, it's a paid subscription, and again, it's reaching out to their servers for them to translate your handwriting and then sending it back to the device so you can make it searchable. That's a paid for feature. I don't really care that it's paid or not. It's the fact that it's not being done on the device. That's what annoys me, is that it can't be done on the device. And I thought this one was going to be able to, but it can't. Actually, it's the same thing. You have to make an account, and then you have to connect to their servers for this thing to transcribe what you handwritten into making it searchable. So the fact that neither of these devices can do it locally, it's kind of a disappointment, because I thought this one was going to be able to do it, and it can't. So every time that I think that this is going to have a leg up and this is going to gain, brownie points, it just keeps falling back. It's really a shame. Anyway, so this is, you can do all your editing and drawing and whatever you need to do. This is great. The problem is that when you want to get into doing e-reading, you want to open up a manual, you can do it in this program, but it's not optimized for it. And what I mean by that is, if I open up this PDF right here real quick, and I go in here, now I can export, I could even print. Like, I could click on share, and I can go on here and I can say, I want all these files, and oh my gosh, I can go through all this, and I can click the share button. And I can even say, oh, what kind of format. I love all these options. I love having these options. And I can say, oh, I want to do a QR code. I want somebody to be able to scan it, and they can get it right off the device. That's awesome. Click share. I can print it. Yeah, I can print directly from this device. How cool is that? Awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. But this particular app is not optimized for reading. You can page through, but it's not meant for that. You have to get out of it, and then you go into this other program. Now you have the Neo reader. So I'm going to click on that, and now I'm in the Neo reader. And what I'm going to do, let me get back into it. So what I don't like about this is that now you have to have two separate programs to do two separate things, as opposed to the ReMarkable, where everything is in the one system. Everything that you need is right here. this has a lot of features that are wonderful. Like you could do the split view, and I can go in here and I can compare notes from this over here. And because it's Android, technically I could actually have another page open where I could actually have a web page open and then take my and do my e-reader up here. That's awesome. But the problem is that it's so generalized that it masters nothing. And what I mean by that is, for example, and nothing is standardized. So this menu system, when you start moving things, everything gets crunched up, and then you start losing functionality. And I'll give you an example. So I'm going to make this full screen now. And one thing that that I don't like about it is that, for example, if I click this, so there's all these options here, and I have a couple more here. But then if I click on this button, it opens up a whole nother set of options, and I lose all my screen real estate down here and up here. It has OCR, it has synchronization, but then when you use the synchronization, you have to use the Onyx account, which I guess this is part of Onyx, even though it's by Boox. The branding is all over the place. It doesn't make any sense to me why they've got this Onyx cloud account, but then you got to use it's made by Boox, and Boox is their website. The branding's all over the place. Now, so let's go back into this and let's look at, for example, I want to find something. I don't want to search for the text. I want to flip through pages really quickly. Now with an iPad, it's easy. You go to a PDF and you can just slide down. You can just slam through pages. So for example, I have to click this button here, and normally I would be in another mode, so I'm gonna put this back to where it was. So for example, I'll put it into navigation. Okay, so this is so in order to zip through a bunch of pages, you have to click this button, and then you have to come over to progress, and now you can slide through here, and you can slam through pages similar to how it would be with the iPad. Because sometimes you might have it where you have a document and you're trying to look for something, and it like, oh, I want to do the installation page. Okay, look at how much real estate is lost up here and here just for this navigation system that they have set up. And then when I click off of it, now it puts the navigation bar over here. And then if I click this button, it does put the navigation bar. I thought it put it at the top, but I guess not. Anyway, this navigation bar is different than the one that was in the note-taking app. And when you do different things, it puts things all over the place as opposed to keeping it all nice and clean and in one spot. Again, it's really unfortunate that this is the general purpose king, but it doesn't master anything. Nothing is super clean and well thought out, because everything's just all over the place. So I can go in there and I can find the page that I need, but everything's cut off. So I'm going to compare it to this guy right here. So if I go over here, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to go into an actual full-blown document. I'll go in here, and I'm going to delete all this stuff. And this was another thing that people complained about, but I guess ReMarkable fixed. There is a lasso delete. So if I click this button right here and I select all of this, it will delete all the notes that I've made here. Okay, so say I want to slam through a bunch of pages of something to find something, and I don't know what it is. So for example, all I got to do is swipe up and grab this little progress bar, and I could say, oh, I want the one with the cable. Where's the one with the cable? There's the one with the cable. Okay, here's my cable. Here's my wire. All right. And it just jumped to it. I didn't have to go through a bunch of button presses. But also, by the way, I've got all my editing just like I did on the other system, all within the same navigation system. So, for example, you can make notations and edits with this. Okay, you can do all that, but you just lost all the other functionality that you had inside the other program. Okay, and I don't like that because now it's like, which app do I use? Do I use the note-taking app or do I use this app to make these notations? Again, the other problem is that now you just made all these edits. You can save it to the device, but now there's no real easy way to get it off the device. You could do a file transfer, which is fine, but I want to show you something that's truly incredible with the way that ReMarkable has made their device. It just seems to me that, so when you want to use the pencil in this app, it puts the toolbar up here. If I press this button, it puts the toolbar back over here. And then if I want to do a quick search, I got to click on this button, and then I got to click on progress, and then I gotta go through like this. And then when I want to go and make another notation or something like that, there we go. I had to come out of that menu, and then this had to go over here. And it's such a kludge. It's such a mess on how you have to do this. I'm already here. I'm in the erase function, so I'm just going to click on a pencil, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to point to that, and I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to say I need that one and whatever. Okay, everything's in here. Now, check this out. I have put the ReMarkable app. Now, I love the size of the screen, but the problem is that the way that this thing works is it doesn't really utilize the full screen space correctly. It doesn't center it. Like, you see how it's got this justification on the side here? Like this is all centered up correctly the way that I would expect it to. Okay, check this out. When you have the ReMarkable app, and because this is Android, I was able to put the ReMarkable app on here, which is hilarious. So what I'm going to do is I have this document. This is literally the same exact documents that are on this device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this document, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this button here, which is going to show me all the pages, and I'm going to slam through this real quickly. And again, I'm looking at what's on this device right now. And I'm going to go and I'm going to find the picture of the cable. So there's the picture of the cable right there, and I'm going to click on it. But if you notice, there's no annotations on there. Watch what happens when I close this document. And it only takes a second. There's all the annotations instantly. Okay? As soon as you close that document, everything is able to be updated on this device. It's not going to the cloud, even though it's probably synchronizing through the cloud. So if you had another device that was in another state, it would synchronize, but this is all being done locally. And even if you didn't want it to go to any cloud, you could still do that USB network connection thing that I told you about a second ago. Everything is instantaneous. And the best part is, and I thought this was going to be a problem, say you wanted to email this to somebody. Well, if you have 1,000 different emails, you would have to put all those different email accounts on this device. But it makes more sense to me now having the app on my desktop computer or my laptop or my pre-existing device that has all the accounts on it, and having it just instantaneously on that device. I didn't even have to do anything. It would have updated the same way, even if this was not open to this page for me to show you. So I could just click on it and I can say, okay, email from my computer, and now it's coming from my computer. Plus that makes it easier to type up the email, because now I'm not emailing from this email client or this email client. Now I could have it come from my email client, which might be Apple Mail, it might be Thunderbird, it might be Outlook, it might be whatever. And now it's going to put all the templating that I would normally use from an email system. So what I thought was going to be a hindrance is actually a benefit, because everything's going through my email as it's always been. So that real-time syncing is just incredible. And the fact that this does not have that functionality natively, it does, but again, you have to set up an account through this Onyx thing. And it's not part of Boox, I don't think. They got to work on their branding. But the other thing, so this has the benefit of I can use any Android app, I can use a USB flash drive, I can do all that. but I don't want to sign up for their account. This guy, I have to sign up for their account, but it has the app that I can put on any device. This doesn't have an app. I don't think this has an app. I might be wrong, but in my playing around, this is so much more streamlined. And the more I think about it, I don't need all these apps because I have other devices that are for these apps. I'm going with this guy. So this solves every issue that I wanted to solve. And I just can't get over the fact that I can literally turn this off, pick it up, jump around, have it locked, put the pencil away or the marker away, pick it up, and it just goes. And then all that I just did, I'll go in the ReMarkable app, and I got to close it for it to update. Am I even in the right page? I might not be in the right page. Am I in the right page? Page 1. Let me see. I might not even be in the right notebook here. Let me see. Notebook 3. Okay, let me close it. Oh, it's going to make a liar out of me, but or maybe it's just this thing. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Synchronizing complete. No. I don't know. Let me try that again. Let me close that out. I don't know why it's not showing up on this right here. That's kind of weird. Is it going to make a liar out of me? Yeah. Let's make, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just make a new notebook. We'll say notebook 4 and create, and we'll put a circle on there. Close it out. There's the circle. There's the new note. There it is. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, it's instantaneously. I'm probably doing something stupid here with this one. Oh, look at that. That's why. Look at that. So that was my fault. So it was synchronizing. That was my fault. I was actually scrolled down. Look at that. I'm scrolled down on the page. So let's do that. Where am I at? There's the circle. Let me look at. So that was actually my fault. So I don't know if this is if these pages are infinitely long. They might be. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they just keep getting longer and longer and longer. So anyway, long story short, so let me scroll all the way back to the top here. Now let me put a circle with an X through it, and then let me scroll all the way to the top of this, and then let me close this, and let's see if it there it is. That's what it was. I was scrolled all the way in the opposite direction. So it was working and I didn't even know it. So that was my fault. It just works instantaneously. It's phenomenal. I really, really, really wanted this to be the best and the most flexible. But this just came to find out that this had every feature and function and flexibility that I needed for what I needed. I am disappointed that I can't print from it, but you know what? With that synchronization function is so fast and so good that it doesn't matter, because I don't need to load the printer drivers on this for where I'm at. It's okay to leave it on my phone or leave it on my computer. I can print from my computer, and actually it would almost be preferable to print from my computer, because then I could have greater control of I want this page or I don't want this page and blah, 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 blah. It's fine. And if the whole world ends and the internet goes down, I can still get all my files off of it. So my fear is gone, And this is a truly remarkable device. And this is unfortunately going to go back to where it came from. And again, the price is roughly the same. It was like $850 or $950 or something like that for the two of them. And actually, this was a little cheaper because because there was a sale that I got it for. But if you bought them, you know, full price, they're about the same price, and this is just so much better designed. And anyway, hello. So thank you for watching. If you guys liked the video, you know what to do. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. And if you guys want to drop me a line, please do. I won't have this device for much longer because I'm going to send it back because I don't feel like having almost $1,000 worth of hardware sitting around doing nothing, because this will be sitting on my nightstand and will be in my bag, and I will be using this pretty regularly as my new notepad. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.